Imagine you found a briefcase full of money, enough to change that of your poor life forever, and no one is watching. What will you do? This is the story of Emily, a poor homeless orphan who chose honesty over desperation, but what she received in return will leave you speechless. Stay tuned as we dive into the full story. But before we start, please don't forget to subscribe if you are just coming across our channel, and give the story a thumb up to support our work. In the bustling city of Lagos, where the towering buildings cast long shadows over the street, there lived a poor girl named Emily. Emily was 12 years old when her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Udoka, passed away in a fatal accident. Emily was taken to the city by her uncle and his wife, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, who had their own 2 kids, Amara and Obinna, not for compassion, but to do their housework for them. Mr. Johnson promised to enroll her in the best school in the city, but everything changed the moment they arrived in the city. Emily was never sent to school. Instead, she was forced to do all the house chores. She would wash dishes, clothes, and sweep the whole compound. At 15, she had started cooking, and she only ate food once a day. Sometimes, Madam Johnson would ask her to drink Gary when there was still food in the kitchen. Emily would sometimes sleep hungry on the parking store floor, crying and calling her late mother for help. On one Tuesday morning, as Emily was carrying a tray with a cup of tea on it to serve Amara, her leg slipped. She fell, and the tea fell to the floor. Amara became enraged and shouted at her, "You lazy witch! You want to spill hot tea on my body. All you know how to do is eat food." As if that was not enough, Mrs. Johnson came in. Without asking questions, she slapped Emily that she saw stars. She tried to explain, but Mrs. Johnson asked her to get out. She went out and started crying inside her room. The next day, as she was washing clothes in the backyard and was singing, someone stood behind her listening to her and smiling. After some minutes, he smirked and greeted her. "Hey, Emily, how are you?" She turned, and it was Mr. Sammy, the gatekeeper. She smiled. "Hey, Mr. Sammy, good morning, sir. I'm fine, sir. How long have you been there?" He smiled. "Not quite long, but long enough to enjoy your song. And I must tell you that you are good in singing." Emily smiled. "Thank you, sir," she replied. "So tell me, where did you learn the song?" he asked. Emily kept her head down for some time. Then she raised her head up and said, "From my late mother," as tears rolled down her eyes. Mr. Sammy said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. I will see you later." As he left, she continued washing her clothes. The next day, as she was going to the market to buy foodstuffs in the evening, Mr. Sammy, the gatekeeper, gave her 200 naira. She used it to buy biscuits while coming back. But she never knew that would be her worst mistake. When Madam Johnson saw the biscuit nylon, she was enraged and accused Emily of stealing her money. She tried everything to explain, but her madam refused to listen and beat her up and refused her to eat food that night. She cried all night. Her worst nightmare began when her cousin Obinna started to find her attractive. Every time he would make the move to sleep with her, but she would run out, telling him that they are family. But he kept trying every day and promising her to treat her well, and also tell his mum to treat her well if she gave him what he wanted. But she refused. It kept happening, but she didn't know how to tell her uncle and his wife because they would not believe her. One afternoon, as she was cooking in the kitchen, Obinna walked in and greeted her. "Good afternoon, brother," she answered. "Good afternoon, Emily. How are you?" "I'm fine," she replied. "So where is my mom?" Obinna asked.
"She went out."
"Okay, is my kid sister back from school?" "No, brother." "Okay, serve me my food when it's done." "All right." He walked out smiling. When he entered his room, he called out for Emily. As she went to answer him, he grabbed her and tried to force himself on her. She cried out and struggled, but no help came. She kept fighting until Mrs. Johnson emerged into the scene. Seeing what was happening, she shouted, "Emily, what are you doing trying to force yourself on my son?" She knelt down. "Ma, it's not what you think. He is trying to force himself on me." Mrs. Johnson shouted, "Shut up, you evil child. You want to kill my son, as you did to your parents. Today you are leaving this house." Obinna was shocked at his mother's reaction, knowing truly he was the one trying to force her. He told Emily, "Shut up and go pack your load and leave." Mrs. Johnson threw her bags outside. As she picked it up, she had no place to go. She went out to the street with no money, no food, nothing more than pains. In the night, she would sleep under the bridge, and daytime she would beg for food. Some would pity her and give her food. Some would give her money, while some would chase her away, calling her lazy girl. One day, she met with a woman selling rice on the roadside. She begged her, "Ma, please, I have not eaten since 2 days now. Can you give me leftovers to eat?" The woman replied, "There is no leftovers here now. We just opened." She begged her, "Ma, I can help you to sweep, wash all the dishes if you can give me food to eat after I'm done." The woman looked at her with concern. She asked her to sit down. She sat, and she gave her hot rice and beans. She finished the food like a hungry lion. After eating the food, she started washing the plates. She helped the woman in serving the customers. When evening reached, the woman, Mama Kemi, gave her 500 naira and food for dinner. She was so happy. To her greatest surprise, Mama Kemi asked her to come back tomorrow. To still help her, she was overjoyed. She went to the underbridge where she was sleeping. The next day, before Mama Kemi could come to the shop, she had already swept everywhere. When Mama Kemi arrived, she was surprised. They continued like that for 1 week. One day, Emily met Sasha, and they became friends. Emily told Sasha everything that had happened to her, from her parents' death to sleeping under the bridge. Sasha took her to her one-room apartment, and they both started living together. One evening, when they closed shop, Mama Kemi called her and sat her down and asked her, "Emily, what happened to you? You have never called anyone and no one has come to check on you. Is it that you don't have family?" Emily broke in tears. "Ma, I had a lovely family before, but death took everything away." She started to remember. Long ago, when she was 8 years, her father was a rich farmer and her mother a trader who sold foodstuffs in the market. She was a happy girl who would follow her father to the farm, sometimes follow her mother to the market. The villagers loved her family because of their dedication in helping people in the village. Her parents would call the villagers for a festival every year to celebrate with them. They would eat, drink, and dance. But her life changed when she was 12. Her father was meant to be crowned chief of their community. They were preparing everything, buying foods, drinks, cow. When it remained 7 days for the ceremony, her parents went out to get the remaining food, and on their way back, they had an accident. Her father died instantly, and her mother was rushed to the hospital, but she died after 3 days. She was left alone. After the burial, my uncle, Mr. Johnson, took me from the village to the city where they treated me like a slave. And my father was the one who started business for my uncle in the city, she added. Mama Kemi, with tears in her eyes, said, "I'm sorry, my daughter. God is not sleeping. Keep doing good, and one day God will open way for you." She thanked her and went home. As days passed, one day Mama Kemi left the shop for her and went out. In the evening, as she was about to close shop, she was arranging the chairs when suddenly she found a briefcase under the table. In curiosity, she asked, "Who might have forgotten this briefcase here?" She picked it up and opened it. To her greatest surprise, there were stacks of money and some documents and papers inside. She froze. She rushed and closed the shop and went home with shaking hands. When she reached home, she was confused about what to do. She thought of using the money to start up a business for herself, but she remembered the advice her mom gave her before she died. "Don't take what does not belong to you." She said, "No, I will keep it. I believe the owner would be looking for it." But 2 days passed. The owner did not come. Then she decided to find the owner by herself. On the 3rd day, she opened the briefcase and she brought out the documents. She saw an international passport of a businesswoman named Sarah. Sarah was a 35-year-old successful business billionaire woman who owned oil companies, real estate, and many other companies in the city. She was a woman who rose from grass to grace. She married the late Mr. Godwin, who was her secondary school mate. Sarah was a good woman who always helped the society. 3 days ago, she was out to send one of her workers to London for a business trip. On her way back from the airport, she was so hungry and she decided to eat in Mama Kemi's shop. On that fateful day, when she was done, she forgot the briefcase under the table. When she reached the family house, which contained 20 rooms, manicured garden, and a swimming pool, she searched for the briefcase but could not find it. She went back to the airport, nothing. The briefcase contained some documents of 3 of her biggest possessions. She never stopped searching, but her mind never came to Mama Kemi's shop at all. The next day, she became aggressive. She would shout at the workers at every small mistake. On the 3rd day, she refused to go out for work. She remained in her house, thinking and asking God, "Who have I wronged to deserve this? I have been helping people. What is my wrong?" It was about 8 p.m. when she was sitting in the living room. All of a sudden, her phone rang. She picked it up to see a number with no name. She dropped it in anger. "Who is this, and why must you call me?" After some minutes, again her phone rang, the same number. This time she decided to pick it up. "Hello, who is this?" she asked. "Hello, Ma. My name is Emily Udoka. Please, Ma, are you Mrs. Sarah?" she replied. "Yes, who are you and how can I help you?" "Okay, Ma, I found a briefcase and I kept it for you since 3 days now, but you did not come looking. Then I opened it and saw your number. That's why I said let me call and tell you, Ma." Hearing this, Madam Sarah was overjoyed. "Okay, where can I meet you so that I take it my daughter?" Emily replied, "Ma, come tomorrow morning to number 34 Sabo Street. We are selling food, Mom." "Okay, thank you, my daughter." Then she remembered going there to eat food while returning from the airport 3 days ago. With that, she was overjoyed that finally she would not lose her company to anyone. The next day, around 11 a.m., she arrived at 34 Sabo Street. She walked straight into the restaurant. Mama Kemi, who had known the billionaire woman, was amazed seeing her in her restaurant. She greeted her. "Good morning. Please, what should we serve you?" And she called out for Emily, "Please come and serve customers." Then Sarah replied, "Ma, I'm not here to eat. I come to see your daughter, Emily." Mama Kemi was afraid and asked, "What has she done for you to come like this? Please, Ma, she is an orphan who has nobody. Whatever she might have done to you, please forgive her." Madam Sarah smiled. "Ma, she did not do anything wrong." Then Emily came in from the backyard. She greeted her, "Good morning, Ma." Sarah replied, "Good morning, how are you?"
I am fine, Ma.
Mama Kemi said, "Emily, she said she wants to see you." Then Madam Sarah smiled and said, "Emily, my name is Sarah, the woman you called yesterday." "Okay, Ma." Emily rushed where her bag was and picked the briefcase up and brought it to the heir, who looked so relieved seeing her briefcase. She opened it, and everything in it was intact. She picked 2 bunches of money and handed it over to Emily, but she rejected it, saying, "I did not keep it for you to be paid. I did it to honor my late mother." She was surprised to hear that from her. She then turned to Mama Kemi and said, "Thank you, Ma." She went off asking herself, what type of selfless girl is she? And what did that woman mean by she is orphan and don't have anybody? The next day, she came back with workers to renovate the restaurant for Mama Kemi. Then she went with Emily to her house. She asked her, "Why did you not keep the money?" She said, "My mother's last wish before she died is for me not to take what does not belong to me." Then she said that Mama Kemi mentioned she has nobody. Is it true? Then she explained to her journey from the village to the city. Madam Sarah promised her that her problem was finished, that for the good she did for her, it would not go unnoticed. For that, she said, "I will make you a billionaire." She offered her a job in her company. She tried to reject it, saying Mama Kemi has been the only one who helped her without treating her bad for once, that she wouldn't want to leave her alone there. But Madam Sarah insisted and promised to give Mama Kemi 2 workers who would replace her. "But as for you," she said, "you deserve a big position, and I need people like you to manage some of my companies, and I'm making you the manager of my oil company." Finally, Emily accepted the offer. 2 weeks later, she bought a new car for her. She started working as manager of the oil company. She lived with Madam Sarah happily. 2 years later, she built a school and hospital in the city. Meanwhile, back in Mr. Johnson's house, his son Obinna was caught by a neighbor forcing himself on a 15-year-old servant girl in their house. He was arrested and taken to the police station. 2 weeks later, his case was taken to the court, and the judge sentenced him to 25 years in jail for rape. And Amara, on the other hand, was pregnant and was dropped out of school. Things began to go worse for Johnson's family when his business place caught fire. As if that was not enough, Mrs. Johnson began to have nightmares every night. Mrs. Udoka, Emily's mother, would come to her dream asking her, "Where is my daughter?" She would wake up sweating profusely and breathing heavily. In the 9th month, when her daughter was about to deliver, they took her to the hospital, without knowing Emily was the owner of the hospital. After her successful delivery, they could not pay for the hospital bills and were retained by the hospital management for 2 weeks. But one day, Emily visited her hospital. To her greatest surprise, she saw Mrs. Johnson, who did not recognize her. She asked the doctor, "What is that woman doing here?" The doctor told her that the woman had been here for 2 weeks with her daughter who just gave birth, but could not pay their bills. She said, "Okay, send her to me in your office." "Yes, ma." Back in the office, Emily was sitting when Mrs. Johnson came in. Emily looked at her and asked, "Do you know me? Your voice is familiar, but I can't comprehend." "Good. I'm Emily, the only daughter of Mr. Udoka, the one you left to die on the street for doing you no bad. I called you here to let you know that I own this hospital, and many other things you cannot imagine." Mrs. Johnson burst into tears. "My daughter, I am sorry. I was foolish. Please forgive me." "I have forgiven you long ago. I refuse to be a wicked woman like you. Your daughter has been discharged. And I heard what happened to your son. I'm sorry for that. You can go now." She turned around with eyes full of tears, head full of shame. Emily entered her car and went back to her house. 2 years later, Emily met a young, handsome man. They got married and had 2 kids. Dear friends, hear Emily's story end. Moral of the story? Do good everywhere you find yourself, no matter the situation. Emily kept the money that could change her life, and she got it in double fold. It may be you tomorrow. Desperation can only lead you astray. Please, let's learn how to be compassionate and be contented with what we have. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, comment, and tell us what you learned from the story. And also tell us where you are watching from. Thanks. See you in my next story.